Ladies and gentlemen, this week we are pre-recording. And the reason why we're pre-recording is because we have an incredible guest that many of you have heard before and had a chance to understand exactly what these families go through. The soldiers, the families of fallen soldiers. Served 17 years as a casualty officer. And literally she has just come from the funeral of a young man, what's known as Sayeret Nachal, the elite branch of the Nachal Infantry Brigade. He was killed in northern Gaza. And there have been brutal battles over the last 2 weeks where we've lost over 10 soldiers, the lives of over 10 soldiers in northern Gaza. And she literally has just come from a funeral. We wanted her to share because there's a way that she can express it, there's a way she can communicate it that no one else can, because she lives with these families, she partakes with these families, she's with them the rest of their lives. And at this point, we're going to hand it over to Major just to give you a sense of what the families, what we call mishpachot shchulot, the bereaved families, are dealing with.
Hello, everybody. As Steve said, I just came. You can see I'm still in my uniform. It was a very hard funeral, mostly because all of his friends couldn't come. They are still fighting right now in Gaza. So you can see that in the crowd, there are parents of those who are fighting with him, who came because they know that their son cannot come because they are still in Gaza. And around me, I saw so many faces of parents that were in one hand grieving and feeling so bad being there, and in the other hand, praying to God inside their heart that their name will not be the next one, that nobody will knock in their door next time. And you can see the fear in their eyes. You can actually see parents of combat soldiers who are coming to the cemetery, to the military cemetery, and has fear in their eyes that the next person that they will knock on the door will be their door, and they will become a bereaved family. And it's something that, in a way, unfortunately, I have to say, we got used to it because so many soldiers keep being killed again and again. But I can tell you that I met a few of those parents during the funerals and during the ceremony that we had in the last year. And you can see that something in their eyes died during this time, even though their son is alive, but being so afraid, so much time, they don't sleep. They're not being able to sleep. They're going to work each morning, and they are afraid that they will get someone who will give them the notification at home. By the way, the soldier who just died, his parents got the notification at work. They weren't at home. He has a young sister. She was home, and when she opened the door for the 3 officers who came to give the notification, she said, "It's only me. My parents is at work," and they got the notification at work. So just imagine you working in a bank or in a civilian place, and suddenly you see entries 3 officers, and then you are afraid that they are coming to give you the horrible notification that your son died. It's very hard. The parents doesn't sleep. They barely cope. Every family in Israel who has a son or a daughter, by the way, who are a combat fighter, reserved or not reserved, for the last year and almost a year and a half, they don't sleep at night. We always being afraid of getting the bad news. And it was very emotional, I have to say. He was an amazing guy. Everybody loved him by the stories that there was told in the funeral. And for them, from this day, from yesterday, actually, when they got the notification, life will never be the same. They will never be the same. From this day ahead, life will be something different. They will need to learn how to cope with everything like the first time. How to wake up in the morning and go to work after the Shiva. How to be able to see the friends who will come and visit them without being so emotional. You know, when we are coming to the houses with the uniform and with the tag and with the beret and everything, in a way, we are bringing someone who died inside the house. We are bringing the son who is not here inside the house. So imagine when all his friends will be able to go out Gaza and come and visit the families, how hard it is for them, because I guess it will be in the end of the month, not before. So imagine yourself 2 weeks from now, after the Shiva, when suddenly stuff is becoming, you have to keep living, you have to keep coping, you have to go back to work, you have to go to school. And then 20 guys, 20 amazing combat fighter, the best friend of their son will enter the house. Then how hard it will be for them. In one hand, it will be very emotional, and in the other hand, it will be very hard. And I know it because I had it with the other families that I'm with them since October 7th. And when the first friends were able to come out of Gaza and to visit, it was very hard. It was like another, it's like a punch in the stomach, because suddenly everybody's entering the house and you are looking inside and you are looking for the face of your son between them, and you understand that he's not there. So there's a lot of new things that since October 7th, the bereaved family had to cope with. And it's very hard, I have to say, and it doesn't go any easier. Sometimes during the last year, I thought that the family who lost their loved ones on October 7 will deal it different than those who died while fighting inside Gaza. But in the end of the day, it's the same sadness that you wake up every morning. It's the same struggle to cope and to manage dealing with the life that you never knew before, of how can you wake up and go to work when your son is not with you. So it's hard. It's hard. And it doesn't end, as you can see. There's not a day that someone haven't died yet.
Michal, if you could share with us a number of stories, and I want to share with our participants, Michal has been going back and forth between Israel and Cyprus. One of the programs that we fund, because the north was a war zone, we couldn't take them to northern Israel. Instead, they go to Cyprus. These micro-demographic groups, widows in their 30s and 20s, Druze families, Orthodox families, trying to create a network of families who have buried a son, of families who have buried a husband, of families who have buried a father. And Michal has been very involved with this a lot, together with the Ministry of Defense, because part of their goal is that despite the incredible job the casualty officers do, and they are there for these families, but the ultimate support system is each other, a network where they understand each other, where the rest of the world can't relate to what they're going through, but they can relate to what they're going through because they're in the same boat. And that's part of the goal of these retreats as well. For the rest of their lives, we will be funding retreats at a place called Givat Olga. So it's not just a one-time thing this year, it's something that will take place annually. Michal is participating, is overseeing, is one of the developers of these retreats. Michal, if you would be willing to share with us some of the stories of the families, because you have this way of conveying it in a very open, raw, real way that speaks to us, that enables us to have a glimpse or just a small understanding of what they're experiencing and what they go through.
So the project in Cyprus is amazing. It's going to be amazing. We started it in a few groups that already went there. It's going to be a very small group, up to 25 couples. It can be parents, or it can be a widow with a friend. The idea of the therapy, the idea is to give them the ability to speak with people that has the same unable to be controlled in their life anymore after they lost their loved ones. You have to understand, when you are losing your husband or your son or daughter, something is broken on the way that you're controlling your life. And when you are able to speak with someone who has the same question of how do I keep on living? How do I keep on going to work? How do I deal with all the grave that I have inside of me? When there's another person next to you who has the same question every morning, you can speak with him, you can share with him. And this is what we are allowing them to do. They are going, first of all, out of Israel, because now with all the bombing and all the sirens, it's very hard to be able to speak out loud about the thing that you are afraid of. And them being able to leave the country only for 3 to 4 days and to be with themselves as a group, a very small group that has the same difficulty in life. They have 2 social workers who are working with them from morning until the evening. There is therapy, how to breathe again, how to go to sleep without pills, how to be able to cope with trouble that it's everyday trouble. They still have siblings, they still have kids. They need to be able to be a parent again. They need to be able to be a mom again. How to do it. And since they are in such a small groups, everything is being able to be open. They can share the biggest fears in their life that they are now coping it each day. They are able to say it out loud. And when you are saying out loud the thing that you are afraid of, you are able to find a solution. And over there, because there are so little people, such a small groups, a lot of stories are being opened, stuff that they are not saying to their loved ones at home, stuff that they are not saying to the social worker from the MOD who is taking care of them on a weekly basis. It's the unique story that they can be open over there. And I can tell you that they are coming with a lot of fear to the group. When we came to the airport, it was a husband and a wife. They don't know me before they meet me in the airport. And I'm with, of course, with FIDF shirts. And he approached his wife and he said to her, "We are leaving. I'm not going on the airplane. It's not for me. I cannot deal with it. I cannot hear stories of other people who lost their sons. It's too much for me. If you want to go, you can go on the plane. I'm going back home. Give me the car keys. We'll take the car from the parking and I'm going home." And I was approaching him and I said, "You know what? Come with us on the plane. I promise you that if after the first day you want to go back to home, to Israel, I will find a flight for you. I will be able to bring you back home. Just trust me and come with us on the flight. I promise you that after the first day, when you will sit with all the rest of the families, you will understand that you have something connecting between you." And he said to his wife, "I can't believe I'm coming on the flight only because of a person that I never met before." And I can tell you that he stayed until the end. And on the flight back, I sat next to him, and he said that he cannot express how meaningful it was for him just to sit in the group and to hear the other story. He didn't speak at all in the groups, I have to say. His wife participated a lot. He didn't say nothing. He was sitting next to her, just listening. And on the flight back, he told me that he was amazed that the thing that keep him awake each night and doesn't let him go to sleep is the same thing that other parents feel. He thought it's only the thing that he's feeling. And he didn't understand and he didn't really believe that it can be for other parents also. And the idea that in the end of those 4 days, he has another person, another father, that he has his phone number. And when he's feeling that he needs another person to speak with, he now have ability to pick up the phone and say, "Hi, I was with you in the retreat in Kafrisin. Would you like to meet with me for coffee? Let's meet, let's speak." We were able to give this dad another person to be his friend, to cope with, to speak out loud on the same fears, on the same horrible thought about how can you keep on living when you're missing your son, missing your loved ones. It's a pain that none of us can understand, and I hope that none of us will. but it is a pain that you cannot really describe. But those who are feeling it can understand it when there's the same person next to them. In one of the days, there's a walk. In the second days, there's a walk in the morning next to the sea. The hotel where they are in Cyprus is very close to the beach. And even those who are not like walking, joining and walking very slowly with the group. And in some point, we are all stopping and looking at the sea. And the one of the social worker who was there had an idea to do something like what we are doing on Yom Kippur, Tashlich, that we are doing what we want to take out of this year and what we want to bring in for us in this year. And this is what we do. We actually stood in front of the water, and each parent shut up, scream what he wants to the sea will take from him, to Tashlich, what he wants to do the Tashlich for.
To cast into the sea, to throw out.
Yeah, to throw out to the sea. And it was so emotional. And you can see that everybody participated, even those who weren't going to say anything. And that during the days, they were very quiet. In this point, suddenly everybody wanted to throw away something to the sea, to take out something of their chest, out of their heart probably also. And it was amazing. And it was so emotional. And it was, everybody was hugging after. And when we came back to the hotel to start the group consoling, you can see that they were lighter. They freed something out from themselves, and it was amazing. The way I saw it, I just was standing on the side. I'm not taking a part of it, but I'm there, and it was very emotional. And for me, us as FIDF being able to give it to the family, I think it's a bless. And I hope that during this year we will have all over the year Cyprus therapy groups like this. And I can tell you that all the parents that were in the group are still in contact. They have WhatsApp group, and they are talking one of each other, asking how you are. And I mean, in one of those groups, they let me be in. I'm a silent friend inside these groups. And I can see that between them, they are asking who need help, who needs someone to come to visit them and take him out of the house. There's a lot of parents, I don't know if you know, but still since October 7, we have a lot of parents that didn't go back to work, that they are staying all day by themselves at home. They are not leaving the house only to buy maybe food. Some of them ask for the other siblings to leave the house. They want to be by their own. And this group gives them the power to write on the WhatsApp, "Hi, I'm not feeling good. Can someone come to visit me?" Maybe someone wants to meet. So it's another thing that this group allowed the communication between the parents. And it's amazing. And it's us, it's FIDF. We are giving them this ability to be there and to be in this group. I'm very proud of it, and it's an amazing thing. And I'm proud of FIDF that we are able to bring it to the families. I can tell you that we have in January, we're going to have 4 groups, and the line to at least for the February and March is ended. So we are already have the list of all the families that are going to be until the end of March in Cyprus. Each group is going to be for between 4 to 5 days. And I hope it continue, because I know now how powerful is it for them.
You know, before we went on to the recording, Major Michal mentioned that the hearse that brought this young man who was in Sayeret Nachal, in the elite Nachal infantry brigade group, it was donated by our donors at FIDF. One of the many requests, you know, of the $251 million that so far we've committed, you know, you look at most of these requests are PTSD, they're for the bereaved families, but some of the requests are a little different than normal. And one of them was they needed a fleet of hearses. There's so many soldiers that have been killed, and the volume of funerals it overwhelmed the army preparing the bodies. There's huge amounts of people in reserve that are preparing the bodies, preparing everything for the funeral, digging the graves, etc. But they needed extra hearses. So she showed me a picture of it. It's a hearse that's made in the Midwest. It's a General Motors hearse. It's a very, very dignified being. Imagine it's like a retrofitted, one of those not minivans, total vans that, you go cross country in. But they're retrofitted to be these very dignified and respectful hearses where someone from the family can drive with and be part of it, etc. That's just one small tidbit. If we can go back to some of the families, if you could share with us some of the unique stories, Michal.
So I thought about last night when I was trying to prepare myself for today, because I knew that I'm going to become straight from the funeral. I thought about what story can I share with you. And at this point in the army, there's we can get back for the family the guns of the soldier. If a soldier die and the family is requested, we can give them his guns back home. After, of course, he's been clean and it's been dealt with, that you cannot use it, of course. So the mechanic is taking out of the gun, but the gun himself is being given to the families. And just a week ago, I was with the family of the Nahal, and the commander of the unit came with me. He went out of Gaza, especially for it. And we came and we brought to the family the gun, and it's come in a special box with the name of the soldier on it. And we put it we were sitting in the kitchen, and when we were entering the house, we asked the mom, where do you want us to put the gun? Because it's very big. The box is a big one, because the M16 is a big gun. And she was looking at us when we are entering the house, and she said, you know something? Every time my son used to come home, he used to put it on the kitchen table. And I was telling him, don't put it on the table. It's dirty. It's full of dust. Put it down on the floor next to the kitchen chairs. And when we entered with the box, she said, this is the first time I'm asking to put the gun, the M16, on the kitchen table, because this is the way that for a minute, I'm feeling like my son came home after a month in the army, after 3 weeks in the army. And it was a split second that the way I felt it, we brought with us her son back home. Us being able to put his M16 in the table, in the kitchen table, where she for almost 2 years while he was in the service in the unit was saying, don't put it there, don't put it there, it's full of dust, it's not the place for it. And for her to say it out loud, put it on the kitchen, this is the table, this is the place for it right now. You can see that after a year, he died on October 7, her son, that after a year, every small thing that we as in the army, as the casualty, as the commander, can bring to the family, even if it's look like a small thing, for the family, it's not small. For the family, it's huge things, because every small thing that was held by their son, he used to fight with it. He was with it on October 7. He killed terrorists on October 7 next to his base with his gun. And for us to be able to give it to the family, to the parents, it's all kind of small thing that allowing us to bring another thing and another thing, because that we can never bring back their son. But the small thing, his stuff from the army, his vest, his boots, everything that the army allowing us to give to the family is something small that we are able to bring back to them. And I can tell you that I'm visiting this mom a lot of times. She's an amazing person. And most of the times that I'm there, she's crying. Most of my visits are very sad visits. Not a visit that have joy or have smile. Joy is a big word, but you cannot see that she's smiling. And in this visit, in the end of it, she was smiling, and I felt so emotional because I was able to put a smile on her face with something so small as bringing back the M16 of her son. I have to say that even though it's more than a year that have passed since October 7, for a lot of the parents, they are still on the same day. And it's very hard. They are coming to all the funerals of their friends from the unit. If they are coming to the Shiva, they are trying to find a power in themselves to help new parents from the same unit that their son used to be. It's so unique. Israel unfortunately had a lot of wars. We had the Yom Kippur War, we have the 6-Day War, we were a protective agent, the Second Lebanon War, but we never had a war that was more than a year, that each day we are waking up and there is another name on the news and there is another report about wounded soldiers, severely wounded soldiers. And we need to adjust to a new meaning in our life. Everything can be changed in a minute. Your life can be changed in a second of a phone call that you will get from your son that he's injured and he's in the hospital. Your life can change in a minute if you will be getting the knock on the door. And it's very hard to continue living like this. Everybody's on the edge here in Israel, the way I see it. And I have to say that being able to do both things, being able to be part of the army as a reserve officer and being able to be a part of FIDF and seeing how we combine things together, it's very emotional for me. And I'm so proud of the place that I work. I'm so proud of you, what you are doing for them. I don't know if you know, but the family see FIDF from the beginning of the Shiva, getting the Shiva kit from us with a candle, memorial candle, and a place to put out the picture of their son, and a book to write memories. And then they are seeing us if they need help with the 30 days meal after the shul that every family in Israel used to do. They are meeting us on Olga. They are meeting us now in Cyprus. If they have sons or daughters, young ones, they are meeting us in the project of legacy. If your son is wounded in the hospital, they are meeting us over there because we are coming and visiting them and bringing chocolate and bringing just coming to see how they are. And I feel that the FIDF, I saying us because I feel a part of you in a way. We are building a network between those families. We are there. They know that FIDF. They know us from the Shiva. They know us from Legacy. They know us from everything we help them if they need a financial aid. And it's amazing that in this year, we were able to help in so many subjects and in so many different ways to the families. And I hope we will continue to be able to do it since the war is not ending. But it's amazing, and it makes you proud. It makes you being able to wear the FIDF shirt and make your back like with a lot of proud and with a lot of wow, my organization, the organization that I'm a part of, did this for those families, did this for those wounded soldiers. So I basically thank you for everything you are doing. I know that it's very hard to live so far from here, and I know that you know everything from the news. But I'm being able to say thank you to you because I'm seeing both ways, from the Army point of view and from the FIDF point of view. And I'm emotional now, so I'm sorry. It's something from this morning, from the funeral and everything. But I'm proud to be a part of it and to be a part of the family of FIDF.
Major, we want to thank you. Look, we know, I spoke to you last night. You were up in the middle of the night preparing for this funeral. We know what you're going through, and what you're conveying to us is how life in Israel, there's a new normal. It's a very, very sad normal. It's a tense normal. It's not a life that anybody should have to live, but that's become the reality with the length of this war. Yeah. And we want to thank you for looking after the families for being our representative that's there with them, that's providing for them, giving them a chance to rebuild. Their life will never go back to what it was, but at least have the opportunity to rebuild their lives, and rebuild their lives with a network, with a system, with people who they can open up to, people that they can feel comfortable, and they can expose those raw, naked nerves, those hurt feelings. And just thank you for being the angel that you are.
Thank you. Thank you all.
To our supporters, look, we always talk about many of the things we do, but at this point, we've committed over $27 million. We've not raised it all towards the bereaved families to the various programs. There will be coming online soon, in the next few weeks, the opportunity, and Major Hershkovitz has been involved in this program, preparing for this for months, of connecting American families to bereaved families. There's an adoption based upon their needs. We know what they get from the government, and there's an opportunity over a 3-year period, a financial commitment as well as a support commitment to these families. And that's the program that will be coming available as we bring it forward in the next few weeks. And I want to thank Major for everything she's done to make that program a reality.
Thank you.
Wishing everyone a good week, a meaningful week, and wishing comfort and consolation to the hundreds and hundreds of families whose world has been just changed irrevocably. Thank you.
Thank you.